So everyone is tuned in on the live stream this evening. We're broadcasting out to the rest of the country. My name is Rob van der Bijl. I'm one of the executives here at DuePoint. I'm going to be spending about the next 45 minutes with you. We're going to go through what our business is all about, a little bit of background on us, what the opportunity is all about this evening, and then afterwards, if you have any questions, come chat to me. All right, so let's begin. As you can see, we're a division of a company called Constantia Insurance Company Limited. Constantia is a registered insurance company in South Africa. We were founded in 1952, so we've been around for nearly 70 years. We've operated very successfully in the insurance space over that time. That's Constantia's head office in the background. They are down the road here in Randburg. The financial services provider number, which we have to quote, is that one over there. You'll notice in the foyer above the water cooler, we've got all these licenses up on display. So we've got a long and short-term insurance license, we've got an investment license, and we've got our FSP license on display. And then we've also got our accreditation with the direct marketing and the direct selling associations. There's a lot of fly-by-night opportunities in the country. It's very important that we set a tone of credibility with our business so that you guys trust the business we're going to be speaking about. That's obviously a fundamental step in any proposition for this evening. The managers, executives are these people up on screen. So first three characters are registered chartered accountants, starting with Brendan Benfield. He's our senior executive. He heads up this division. He's got a lot of experience in financial services, particularly in insurance. His father is the cause of that, I suspect, because his father is a professor of insurance. He taught at Wits for 25 years. His father started Clientele Life, probably one of the biggest insurance companies in the country. His father started the IFA, has headed up a plethora of different businesses here and in Europe. They've helped found businesses in Australia. Brendan and his brother Stuart, together with their father and some investors, started up Prime Meridian Direct, or PMD, which is now the fourth biggest short-term insurer in the country. So we've got some wonderful financial pedigree in Brendan. Tim and Stacey, they look after the other financial requirements in our business, the auditing, accounting, a lot of the financial regulation. Then myself and Jane were the two non-accountants. Jane's very experienced in network or referral marketing. She's done a lot of direct sales too. She's from the UK, and her experience is very important to us because even though we're in an insurance business, the marketing model that we've decided to adopt is one of referral network marketing, and so we need that experience. And then myself, I've been working in advertising pretty much all my career, so just over 20 years, close on 25 years now. I ran my own digital agency for a long time, for a decade and a half, but I exited that business and joined the team here at DuePoint. So we've got our client service staff. Carol's here this evening. We've got a number of other client service staff. We've got admin staff. But the mandate, the focus of staff here at DuePoint is to support everybody that joins us, that decide to partner with us in this endeavor, because we want to see people in this business happy, profitable, effective, because it suits our needs too. We can only be profitable as a business if the people that we depend on for growth in the market are being effective themselves. Very quickly, this is a slide, typically it's a negative slide. You can see the four-letter swear word in the top right, top left there. You gentlemen are all fairly young. Perhaps you haven't incurred too much debt in your life yet, as opposed to our American counterparts, where students are heavily indebted with regards to university. Over there, I think we're a little more fortunate than they are, but as a country, we are heavily indebted as a country. Our economy plays out in the fact that people's salaries currently are not escalating as quickly as the cost of living is in the country. That exacerbates the debt cycle that people find themselves in. It comes to a head when we get to retirement. Donnie and Patrick probably think long and hard about their retirement. Perhaps you gentlemen don't think too much about retirement yet, but it doesn't mean you shouldn't, right? Because a majority of the population leave it too late. 90% of South Africans get to retirement and have to get used to living on half their income when they get to retirement. That's 90%. So the odds are against us. This business is about wealth creation. We'll get into that a little bit more, about the nuances of that. But basically, it's an opportunity to change your circumstance, because people that typically come look and listen to this presentation are people that are tired of their circumstance. They are not willing to take on the risk of what your prospects are in terms of traditional employment in the marketplace. And you'll know, I don't know how old you are, but I suspect if you get out of university in a few years' time, you'll realize that there's not much of a job market. And this business is about taking control over your own income. That's pretty much it. So 2.5 years ago, Constantia launched this division called DuePoint. So in February 2016, we called it the DuePoint system. We have aspirations in mind. So going back to my point about wealth creation, this business is not solely about creating additional income for people. It is about wealth creation. And the nuances that go along with that is a couple of aspirations that allow people to understand what wealth creation is all about. It's not just earning more every single month. It's about thinking differently about the power or the value that money has. And one of the big aspirations we have for people in this business is for them to get rid of their debt as quickly as possible. Because only once that's done can you empower yourself to then start working on building wealth. And we build wealth through asset ownership, and that can be in the form of hard assets or investments that hopefully appreciate over time. And that's how you build wealth. And ultimately, we want people just to be happier with their circumstance. So that's what we have in mind for the business and the people that come into the business. How does this actually work? You have the opportunity as guests today to join this business called DuePoint. You enter into a contract with us. It's a month-to-month contract. We don't sign you in for a lifetime. And we refer to you as wealth engineers. And as wealth engineers, you've got a single task, and that is to go out and build what we call a channel of distribution. And the channel of distribution is basically built by you going out and connecting other people in this business. Our dependence on you is to go grow the market space we have in South Africa. And so all you're going to be doing is connecting people to the business opportunity. And if you're successful in that process, if you can connect people successfully to DuePoint who become wealth engineers and product owners, you get rewarded for that. And these are the list of benefits. You obviously get to create an additional income for yourself, which is great if you have a day job and you're getting a second stream of income. It is very empowering. The nature of the income is quite important to understand, because what we do, and it's typically inherent to insurance companies, we create what is called recurring income or passive income. And I often refer to my father's description of it, and I've heard a couple of other people describe it the same way. It's the ability to make money while you're sleeping. Right? It's about the ability to free yourself of time constraint. If you are involved in full-time employment, what you're creating is called active income, and you're constrained by the 8 hours a day, the contract that you have that says you work 40 hours a week for the month and you get paid a salary, no more. You can't put extra effort in the month. You can't work overtime typically and suddenly increase your salary, right? You've got to put in the time. In a business that creates recurring or passive income or annuity income, there's a whole bunch of terms for it, you have the ability to free yourself of that time constraint. So I often tell people in the business, they are able to put time into this business in the month of July 2018 that doesn't only pay you at the end of this month, it'll pay you next month, the month after that, the month after that, a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years now. From now, you could still be earning income based on the effort that you put in July 2018 alone. So it's a very powerful benefit. We allow for power of duplication. So this is something that's inherent to network marketing remuneration models typically. And it's the ability, again, to free yourself of time constraint and duplicate yourself, because you have the opportunity to go out and connect other people, and you can earn from the effort that those people put in. And that is leverage, and I'll illustrate that to you a little more when I show you a picture of what a channel of distribution looks like. Our business is FlexiTime. The technology that we've put in place in this business allows you to grow your channel anywhere in the country, any time of the day. Our business pretty much runs off a mobile phone, off a smartphone. You don't need offices, you don't need anything else. You need a mouth and you need a phone, and that's it. There's no startup capital in our business. We don't have boxes of product that people have to buy. We don't have exorbitant starting fees. We don't have any starting fees or registration fees. We've designed this business specifically to be low risk, very low risk. We're trying to make this business as accessible to the average South African as possible, and at the same time, we don't have any qualifications or experience requirements in our business. You get to build an asset, so this is a very important point. It's an asset that you have ownership over. So this channel of distribution that you're going to be building, you have legal tender over it. It'll become an asset that you own. And this is notable because what it means is that this business will never retire anybody. In traditional employment, we'll get to maybe even before you're 60. My wife's a labor litigator for the biggest private employer in the country, and she deals with labor constantly. And if it's a rough economy, they will start to target people that are close to 60 and go, here's a package, take early retirement. And that's pretty much when your income ends. This business doesn't retire you. It'll keep paying you through your 60s, through your 70s, through your 80s, through your 90s, and when you die, it'll be treated as any other asset, and you will cede it to your beneficiaries. So you'll be able to pass the asset on to a spouse, to children, and that is in the form of wealth, because it's creating recurring income, depending on how big your channel is by that stage. There's no selling involved in our business, so this is a great benefit, because most people do not get excited by the prospect of having to sell anything, particularly insurance or investment products. In our business, we actually contract you out of selling. We tell you very specifically that you're not allowed to sell any of our products. What you're going to be doing is connecting people to the business opportunity, an income-generating opportunity, which is pretty much the most attractive commodity that exists in South Africa at the moment in our current set of circumstances. And then the nature of our products, because we have financial products, they are intangible. We've got systems in the cloud that take care of all the collections and the debit orders automatically. It's never something that you have to worry about. We don't have stock and distribution issues, in other words. And so the products in themselves become very convenient. All right, so let's look at a channel of distribution. This is what we're going to be focused on here at DuePoint in building. It begins with you. You become a wealth engineer. You take out one of the products, and you now focus on building your channel. In other words, connecting other people. In this example, you've connected 5 people. And from this point on, you have this power of duplication that now takes place, because the 5 people that you connected to the business are wealth engineers and product owners, and they want to do the same thing. They also want to create additional income. They want to grab all the benefits of DuePoint, and so they will start connecting other people, and your channel of distribution will take on a life of its own, whether you like it or not. We've got an infamous lady that we always bring up as a great example, who had great success in the first few months of this business when we launched it, and I think she was earning about 4,000 or 5,000 rand a month, and she disappeared. So we never saw her again for whatever reason. And we looked at her business in February this year at our awards conference. She's got over 7,000 people in her channel, and she's completely unaware of it, right? Because she walked away, and she's pretty much sitting on a diamond mine, but she's not mining it. She's not involved. She's not an active wealth engineer. Your channel can look like this after an amount of time, but you have to give it time. We get a lot of people that join the business, they get frustrated, they have short-term expectation, and they leave the business after 2-3 months. Your channel will grow with time, but you have to give it time. So this is what a channel of distribution looks like. You're potentially being paid for every single dot that you see on the screen every single month, and that is what your asset looks like, a channel of distribution that creates the recurring income, and that's what we're going to be focused on here at DuePoint. All right, so we have 2 warnings before we get on to how you actually earn. It stems off of us not being a get-rich-quick scheme. There's 2 points that come off of that. One, we're a very legitimate entrepreneurial opportunity that we're extending to the public through this business. And I hope I've allayed any of that fear. If you do become wealth engineers, you will know that when you go try to connect other people, they will always be skeptical at first. And that's because of all the rubbish that's come before us, right? A lot of schemes out there in the country. You read about them in the newspaper every single weekend. And so your job will always be about your task in terms of connecting people will always be based around credibility, right? So I'm hoping that being a 70-year-old insurance company that's listed on the Joburg Stock Exchange, there's some credibility in that. Also being regulated by the Financial Services Board. At the same time, because we're not a get-rich-quick scheme, we never profess that you can become wealthy quickly, because it doesn't exist. Whatever premise you might have in your mind about creating wealth, getting rich quickly does not exist. It doesn't. I've started enough businesses myself. Brendan started many businesses. You gentlemen have been involved in business. We know it doesn't exist. But a lot of people will arrive with that assumption that they can get rich quickly because they've got 1,000 friends on Facebook and they're going to connect all of them and be earning 100,000 Rand by the end of the year. This business is about slow, steady wealth creation, building an asset that needs time to develop, to kind of foster what that channel of distribution looks like. So that's our only warning in the business. Onto our products. So we've got 4 products. Their benefits are all financial in nature. Our first product is an investment product. It's called Access Wealth. It's going to cost you 324 Rand every month, of which 100 Rand gets invested into a tax-free investment fund. You've got full access to that investment. There's no delay notice to access the funds in that account, and at the same time we give you 120,000 rands worth of personal accident cover. So that's probably more prevalent to you guys because you're younger than us three, and if you're going to die in anything, it's going to be an accident, not through illness or natural causes. So that's the investment product, Access Wealth. The second product is strictly insurance. It's called Wealth Guard. It's 249 Rand every month, and this time you get 1 million Rands worth of personal accident cover. So our personal accident cover is accessible to anybody. If you typically have any understanding around life insurance, you know that the riskier you are deemed, the more your premium goes up. We've designed this product to be the same for everybody. So as long as you're over the age of 18, doesn't matter what your health status is, it doesn't matter what your age is, you can take out the product, the premium remains the same, the amount of cover that you receive remains the same. The third product is called Family Wealth. So this is a new product we've launched. It is funeral cover, and it starts at 299 Rand. You get 20,000 Rands worth of funeral cover for that, and up to 5 family members included. It also includes 10,000 Rands worth of debt protection. So if you owe 10,000 Rand on your credit card or at Woolworths or Edgar's or whoever you have debt with, we'll cover up to 10,000 Rand included on that. And again, the beauty of this product, again, it's accessible to everybody. So it's got no pre-existing conditions excluded. So you can have cancer, you can be 50 years old, you can take out this product. We'll keep the premium at the same price, and you get the full benefit that's listed there. Yeah, so there's a 6-month waiting period over there, 6-month waiting period for illness and natural causes. So it's an awesome product. We don't think there's a product like this in the country at the moment. Then the final product is called Wealth Points. Wealth Points is going to cost you 299 Rand. This product is designed to lower your cost of living every month. So for 299 Rand, you get to enjoy discounts that we've negotiated with a list of partners that you see over there, always on Wi-Fi data. We've got groceries to ShopRite Checkers. We've got a lot of online retailers there. We've got car manufacturers, and we've negotiated discounts with all these partners that you get to enjoy. So hopefully it will reduce your cost of living, and at the same time, we are always adding new partners to this product. We've got a very exciting one lined up shortly that we should be launching in the next couple of weeks. So those are the 4 products. They're designed to be straightforward because we are focused on business here more than the products, but they are still very good, innovative products. If you have any questions, come chat to me if you want to know more about the products. What separates us from other businesses, typically our remuneration model with regards to marketing and advertising. So traditional companies, especially insurance companies, spend a large portion of their budget on marketing and advertising. So if you've got an insurance product, a large portion of that premium that you pay every month goes towards that insurance company's advertising and marketing budget. That's how they grow in South Africa's market. At DuePoint, we don't do any advertising or marketing, so we don't spend a cent on that. Instead, we take that portion of our budget and we're able to give it to our wealth engineers for the work that they do in connecting other people to the business. And so typically, insurance industry currently spends just over R1 billion in marketing and advertising every single year. We can take that portion and attribute it to our returns and rewards program. So those are the 2 ways that you earn as a wealth engineer here at DuePoint. Okay, so let's get on to the returns program. The returns program is creating that additional paycheck every single month, that income every single month. It starts with a base return fee per product of 27.50 Rand. So remember the slide with all the dots on? Imagine earning 27.50 Rand for every single dot on the screen every single month going forward. But it's actually dependent on where that product lies in relation to you. So the first people that you connect into the business will always fall on your first point, right? It's 1 point away from you. On your first point, you see the multiplier says 200%. You get paid 55 Rand for every product on your first point. Then when those people go out and develop your channel even more, that product lies on your second point. And again, on your second point, you're getting paid 55 Rand for every product every month. And then it starts to drop. So from the point 3, it's back to 100%. And then as your channel starts to grow outwards, all the way down to 0.8, you're being paid 4% of the 27.50 Rand. But you're not limited to 0.8. So we've got wealth engineers like Donnie, who are beyond 0.30 already in their businesses. They can potentially earn all the way up to 0.30. There's absolutely no limitation. From 0.8 onwards, you'll earn the 4%. There's no limitation on the size of your channel in this business. There's no limitation on how much money you can earn at DuePoint, right? And that's in the space of 24 months that some people have got to that point. So you can imagine where Donnie and Patrick might be in 10, 20 years' time. Again, time and numbers. There's no way around that. Typically, the next question we get asked, and this is something that we actually did when we launched the business, was to get people to understand how much money they could earn with time. So we built this thing called the Path to Success. It is a 5-year plan or projection for the next 5 years, the next 60 months, and it is based on a growth assumption. So the growth assumption assumes that in your first month, you'd be able to connect 3 people to the business, and every consecutive month thereafter, you can connect 2 people in. So it's 3 in the first month, and then in August, another 2, September, another 2, and you just keep connecting 2 people every month into perpetuity. And if you can do that for 5 years, you can expect these kind of numbers. 2,500 Rand after 6 months. Now, to give you an idea, and this comes back to my point about wealth creation as opposed to just creating additional income for yourself, I make the mistake of looking at 2,500 Rand or any amount of money and looking at it from a consumer point of view. I look at it in terms of the face value, the spending value that money has. But if you're focused on wealth creation, you don't look at money like that. You look at it in terms of the leverage that it can give you, right? And we know South Africa is heavily indebted, generally. Here's an example of someone with a R1 million bond. So just to illustrate the point, on a R1 million bond, you go find a nice little R1 million apartment here in Bryanston, and probably get about 50 square meters for that if you're lucky. And you don't have the R1 million cash, so you go to the bank and they decide to give you finance in the form of a bond. You decide you'll pay them back over 20 years. At prime plus 2, you're going to be paying back about 11,500 Rand a month for 20 years, right? So if you're my age, 40, 20 years later, I'll make my last paycheck to the bank of 11,500 Rand when I'm 60 and become a homeowner for the first time. Now the illustration, the lesson here is that you get to choose what you do with that 2,500 Rand you're making. You can either go spend it or you can decide to leverage it. If you have debt, you can leverage it, right? And in this case, if you put the 2,500 Rand as an additional payment, so it's just a 20% extra portion that you're putting into your bond, it'll reduce your bond from 20 years to 11.5 years. The extra 20% will reduce your bond by nearly 50%. In the process, it'll save you nearly 1 million Rand in interest charges that you would have paid back to the bank. So that's an illustration of how to leverage money more than the face value that it has. At month 12, you'd be up to about 9,000 Rand a month, so it's in excess of 100,000 Rand in annual recurring income. We keep going. At 24 months, you're close to 30,000 Rand a month. And you can see how it escalates because it's that power of duplication. It's the leverage that we've included in this calculation. At month 36, you're close to 50,000 Rand a month. And then a nice example that I like to kind of dream about over there at month 36, you'd be in the position where you're earning about 36,000 Rand. And again, you've got the choice. You can either go buy a Porsche 911 GTS and finance that. That'll cost you about 35,000 Rand a month. Or you can put the money as an additional payment into a 5 million Rand bond. If you put it into the 5 million Rand bond, you'll pay the house off in less than 7 years. Right? Over 21 years, you could do that exercise 3 times. 21 years from now, you could be the owner of 15 million Rand in property. You could be living in one house, renting out the other 2 properties, 70, 80,000 Rand a month. And that's the decision we have to make. For me, I'd like to go with a Porsche, to be honest. That's always the difficulty, right? Especially for consumers. And the economy needs consumers. The economy drives consumerism. The economy is not driven off of people trying to create wealth, unfortunately. And so we've got to go against the grain. I always say to people, how's anyone going to know you're rich if you're paying your bond off faster and you're still driving the City Golf? Right? But that's the decision. That's the mature decision that you have to make with regards to wealth creation. At month 48, by the next World Cup, you could be earning 70,000 Rand a month in recurring income. And then by month 60, 5 years from today, you're close to about 1 million Rand in annual recurring income. Now, I'm very happy to accept anyone challenging me and saying, well, that's just theoretical. Anyone can put an Excel spreadsheet together and say, okay, you're growing by this percentage every month. The number will just get bigger and bigger and bigger, which is true. I accept that completely. But we've got wealth engineers that join this business every single month that do this. So they're on the trajectory. Some are beyond it. So some people are doing more than 3 plus 2. We've got people that do less than 3 plus 2. It is completely up to you. I don't dictate how fast people need to grow. That is a decision that people will be making every single month. And so every month we invite wealth engineers up onto stage that just express the journey that they've had with DuePoint and how it's looked. So here we've got Andries. Andries has got a unique story because he's got a health condition that doesn't allow him to leave the house. But he's able to do the business. Remember, I told you the business runs on your phone in your pocket. He only has the ability to phone people and speak to them over the phone. and he's joined 23 months ago. His recurring income is sitting at 3,500 Rand a month. We've paid him about 23,000 Rand already. He's added 15 people to his business, so you can see he's doing less than 3 plus 2. But this is what it's resulted in. In terms of leverage, he's brought in 15 people, but it's resulted in 91 people in his business, or 91 products in his channel. And if you want to look at the equivalent value, so we look at recurring income being nearly 3,500 Rand, you would need 834,000 Rand sitting in a bank account to generate that interest if you had an account that was paying out 5% on that, which is typically what you'd get for any amount, any balance under R1 million. So that's Andries. Then we've got Petrus. Petrus has never met the person that introduced him to the business. So again, it just speaks to the ability to build this business anywhere in South Africa. He joined 10 months ago. The value of his channel is sitting at nearly 5,000 Rand. So he's tracking 3 plus 2 fairly closely. He's got 5 points open in his channel. He's got 121 products in his channel, and he's introduced 14 people into the business on his first point. Then we've got Casper. Casper joined 2 years ago. He's also got an interesting story because he had early success, and then he became very despondent, and we never saw him for a few months, and then he came back again. But fortunately, it's a good story because the value of his channel is sitting at 8,000 a month. So he is not keeping up with 3 plus 2, but the equivalent investment is nearly 2 million Rand investment that he's created for himself in recurring income. We've paid him nearly 38 or 39,000 Rand. He's achieved 2 wealth quests, which are monthly incentives that we run. So he's got an iPad from us. We gave him an extra 10,000 Rand last month for work that he did in that particular month. He's only brought 8 people into the business. It's translated to 665 products sitting in his channel because he's had the time. He's had the 2 years, and he's found a couple of superstars in his business, which is completely fortunate, but that happens in this business. You have to run through the numbers to get people that are actually going to do a lot more work than you and put a lot more product into the business than you would have done personally. So that's Casper and Madeleine. So he's got a lot of value that he needs to unlock in his business. And like I said, we've got thousands of people joining this business every single month. Everybody's different. Everyone's running a different race. Everyone's got limited belief systems. Everyone's got different circumstances, different excuses. You need to decide what you want out of this business because everyone has got potential to take whatever they want out of this business. It just comes back down to how many hours you're willing to sacrifice and put into this business. No other way around it. So the decision for me is not whether you want to join. It's not whether you want to get to 100,000 Rand a month in recurring income. It's whether practically you can see yourself doing this business and whether you're able to sacrifice the time to do it. Simple as that. It's a very straightforward proposition. Joining is very straightforward. Becoming a wealth engineer is actually a non-event because it takes you about 7 minutes to do online. What's important is the application of the business. Read your code of conduct because that's specifically defines what you cannot do as wealth engineers, and then just go look at the online training. I see today we've got about 680 videos on YouTube already that we've produced. It's not all training, but there's a lot of information in the training that we've done over the last 2 years. Set goals for yourselves. This is probably one of the most underestimated things. It's something I realized that I never did in the last 20 years. I did not set goals for myself. Perhaps too easygoing. Took opportunities when they presented themselves, but I never put a stick in the sand and said, that's what I want, and chased it. Set goals for yourself. It means writing them down. It's not about dreaming about what you want. Set a goal, write it down, decide what you want, and make a very sincere decision to pursue that goal. Right? And that's where the plan comes. You can only prepare a plan once you have a goal, and then the basic activity in this business is just speaking to people. If you're not speaking to someone every day, you're not doing this business. You're treading water. So getting started is fairly straightforward. You can be profitable before the end of the month in this business. Merchandise has been designed to empower people in building their channels. Being involved in advertising all my career, any proposition, whether you're trying to take a girl out on a date, or whether you're trying to start a business or get someone to do anything, it always boils down to trust and credibility. Always. right? If you guys are in a working environment already, especially in sales, you will appreciate that, and it's no different. The merchandise is just part of the trust, the credibility picture, so that when you sit down, and whether you've got the notebook and the pen, or a pin, or business cards, people will take you more seriously. They will see that you have more belief in the business, rather than just arriving there in a pair of jeans, no business cards, writing your name and number on the corner of your page and tearing it off and giving it to them. So consider getting the business cards if you're going to become wealth engineers. Join our Facebook page. Content's produced on that every single day. Our YouTube channel, as I said, 680 videos there. It tells you every time that camera's turned on. We do 6 live broadcasts a week, or 6 days a week. I think it turns out to be, 8 live streams that we do a week, and everyone's an opportunity to connect someone in South Africa. And then the mobile app, make sure you download that once you become wealth engineers, and that works on Android and Apple devices. And then onto our XP Rewards program. So this is the cherry on top. It works like this. You become a wealth engineer, and what happens is when you start doing all these wealth engineer things, like connecting people, coming to presentations, inviting guests with you, you could even do home presentations, just logging into your mobile app earns you XP. It earns you experience points, and as you start collecting more experience points and your channel grows, there are numerous rewards waiting for you as you rank up in the rewards program. So this is the table from rank 1 to 20. You'll start out as rank 0. 1,000 XP can be done in 60 seconds. You need 4 products in your qualified channel. The moment you meet those 2 criteria, you get an extra 55 Rand at the end of the month, once off, not recurring, right? So I always tease everybody. I said, make sure you go out and buy a slice of cake and celebrate early success, because the people at rank 1 are doing exactly the same thing the people at rank 20 are doing. Right? It's just speaking to people every day. And so what you've done is you've proven to yourself that you can get to any rank in our business if you can get to rank 1. And then as you start collecting more XP and your channel grows, the rewards get bigger and better. There's 20 and a 50,000 Rand check waiting for you. We give these fancy little USB sticks that plug into virtually anything with a lot of our content on there for our rank 5s. At rank 7, we spend 12,500 Rand on a set of business cards for you. Again, a picture of credibility. You put a 12,500 Rand business card on the table, I promise you the most important person at the meeting. Right? These are all tools to build your channels more effectively. At rank 9, it's our first recurring reward. It is an awesome reward. I actually just sat down with Brendan now to discuss the rank 9 trip at the end of the year. We went through the itinerary. It is magic. It is magic. It is literally experiencing life for a week like a multimillionaire. The rooms are about 30,000 Rand a night per room. So it's 7 days away to a 5-star luxury resort. We fly business class there and back. It includes your spouse, it includes your kids. So it's very much a family affair, and you get to enjoy this every single year for the rest of your life once you get to rank 9. So think about that. It's not a commission-based sales job where you've got to keep hitting the target every single year just to get the incentive. So take a look. So this was the last trip that we went on in Mauritius. I know it's cold, but it's warm in the video. Try to picture yourself there in the next few years.
All of your wind has gone, and all of the paths you've drawn have sunk to the ocean sand where no one can see. You stand, don't let the dark embrace, cower the dreams you chase under the rust and blood. Don't let yourself give up.
So that was the last trip last December, every single year. So as I said, we're planning the next one already. One gentleman got to rank 9 in 5 months. A lot of the wealth engineers took about a year to get there. Everybody is different. It comes down to the amount of time you want to put into this business. But typically at 3 + 2, it'll probably take you about 3-4 years to get to rank 9. But you can do it a lot sooner. Up to you. At rank 11, we spend R250,000 towards any car that you want to buy. We'll pay for it cash, give it to you. No DuePoint stickers. The car is yours. It's not leased. It's not rented. It's not financed. It's paid for cash in your name. You get to drive it off the parking lot. So that happens rank 11. So this is what the rewards program looks like. We are at rank 11. It goes up to rank 28. There is way more left in this business. So when we sit down typically in our management meetings, we typically map out the next 25 to 30 years for wealth engineers. So rank 28, you can only imagine what's happening at rank 28 if at 11 you're getting a car. And that's it. What is the decision we're left with this evening? Come speak to me, ask me any questions that you might have. I get particularly excited by people younger than myself that are taken by this opportunity because I know I left school, I went and did a stint at varsity, I started my own business, and even running my own business for 15 years did not pay off the way I think it would. And I had some harsh lessons about wealth creation, and I would have done things differently, I think. And really what this is an opportunity that you could run on the side. I don't try to romanticize DuePoint or this business. If anything, this business is leverage for you to get involved in anything that you want to, typically when you're marginalized in the job market. And like I said, you can be profitable within 30 days in this business. If you're still skeptical, I often challenge the people that are skeptics. They never come speak to me, the skeptics, but I imagine there's some skeptics. I'm a natural skeptic. Give the business 30 days. There's zero commitment that you have to give to this business. If you don't like the business, you can walk away, phone client service, cancel. That's it. But if you're a skeptic, at least give this business 30 days. And if you can speak to anyone, one person a day, let's say, for 30 days, whether they say to you yes or no, if you can just speak to somebody about the business for 30 days in a row, I promise you, you will be wealthier next month than you are last month. And that's what this business is about. Incremental increases in your wealth, month to month. And 2 years later, you can be where Donnie's sitting. Recurring income, a family holiday every single year like a multimillionaire. Right? And he's just getting started. He's just getting warmed up. So you have a wonderful example in someone who's consistently engaged in this business. And that's the proposition. So come chat to me if you like. Otherwise, have a wonderful week. And perhaps I'll see more of you guys. Thank you. Pleasure.